I don't know if you know this, but I've actually been on YouTube for 10 years now. It's so crazy to think that I have been on the internet since 2012. But if you do not follow me on YouTube and you want to see like more videos, stuff about my life, I would love if you could go and just subscribe to me there. It's free. You can see all the videos. I post tons of really random things. I'm trying to post more as well, and I love requests. So if you want to follow me on YouTube, you can type in FitSid at the search bar, or in the description, my link for my channel will be there, but my channel is FitSid. So it's youtube.com/FitSid, I believe. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I do have a YouTube channel before we jump into this podcast and have some fun. I'm your host, FitSid, and welcome back to Dirty CEO, where we go balls deep into the reality of what people are really thinking. Now let's get into it. Dirty CEO. Hey everyone, it's your girl FitSid, and welcome back to Dirty CEO. I'm here with my stepsister, Sam. Sam's never been on the podcast, and we're finally doing it.
Yes, we are. Hi, everyone.
Okay, so first of all, Sam and I have only been stepsisters for like less than a year so far. And when we first got to know each other, it was very much like awkward in the sense of like, oh, we both do OnlyFans. Like we stalked each other on like Instagram and
Both of us.
Yeah, didn't want to message like the other because we were like, where do we stand on this topic? Like, you know, and then eventually like someone introduced us over FaceTime and we were like, okay, like now we've broken the ice. We started texting and then we were like, let's make an OnlyFans together. Because we like had something to bond over. So that's kind of how like we met. But how did you get into, because she's been into like not just but like the adult industry for way longer than even I have.
All right. So I'm 22 and I've been doing this for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys can do the math.
She's hinting at something, you guys, just so you know.
Yeah. So do the math. And then it wasn't just like OnlyFans, obviously, because it wasn't around then. But I started off doing escorting.
Mm-hmm. How did you get into escorting? And you can be so blunt and real on this.
A family member actually kind of got me into it.
Yeah.
She was doing it. And she's like, hey, like, I'm doing this thing right now. Like, you should come and do it with me. Like, it would be fun. We could do it together. It'd be safer. So I was like, okay.
Were you both underage?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, let's try it out. So her and I were just like running around town doing our thing and running around from hotel and stuff. But then it's not that I didn't like it because I loved it. Like,
what were you doing, by the way? I know you said escorting, but some people really don't know the difference between like different words. You know what I mean? Be real. This is a podcast that you can
so, you know, like I would get a hotel.
Yeah.
And which was so hard because of my age, right?
Yeah.
You can't get a hotel. So I would be running around trying to get like IDs and like all this and anything I needed to really get like a credit card and all that stuff. Go to the hotel. You would post an ad on a page called Leo List because Backpages was taken down right before. So Leo List was something that I used. Post the ad, and then men would like, or women, mostly men, would message you on your other number or whatever.
So did you get like a fake number?
Yeah, I downloaded an app called Text Me.
Okay, so here's the other thing, you guys. Like, keep in mind,
I was also young. So
she's young,
I didn't
underage doing this. And like
how it was
she's learning. Yeah, but who showed you this? Was it the family member or was it?
It was trial and error. Like
did you guys like look it up or
no.
Like how because this is something for me that like I would have never even known.
It's so crazy. You like I can't dox the person that I did it with.
Right.
But like the person who it was, like she was also younger than me too.
Yeah.
But like she was just doing it for like 2 months. She got like a person was just kind of running it for her.
So she had someone that kind of like knew what they were doing?
Yeah. So they were running it for her, but she wanted to kind of do it herself.
Was it like a pimp?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because one of my friends, we were talking about how pimps come into clubs. So
yeah,
like
they do.
So like my viewers are kind of like they know they're learning just like I am when like we're on, because I had another girl, Brianna Kahlo, who explained to me the difference between like tricks and like pimps and and then also the terminology between trapping. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know any of that. So like feel free to explain things.
Okay,
because sometimes people don't know.
If
I know
there's
I don't.
something that you need me to elaborate, I'll elaborate on it. But yeah, these men would come, the tricks, and they would pay us the money, however much we were charging.
What was your rate back then?
Oh my gosh, it was
and you obviously
so
like
brutal.
just for the record, she and I talked about this the other night. She never told them she was underage. Otherwise, they would have never fucked around with her. So just for record, you guys, they weren't like looking for little kids.
Yeah, no, not at all. I was also like, I've always been super mature, so like people never kind of put two and two together.
Yeah.
I was probably charging like $100 for a half hour. And like for me, I like was like, that seems reasonable. Like I get paid like $14 an hour, $12 an hour, $100 for a half hour. Like that's perfect. Like that's, you know, everything was like safe services and stuff. Like I didn't want to delve into that.
And what does that mean?
That's just a full safe services is like everything's protected. Everyone has a different version of what it means.
Yeah. And what did it mean for you?
Everything was no kissing, no like putting fingers inside of me.
Yeah.
Just everything is like very clean. Just a basic job, and then like and then you in the condom, and then that's it.
So when they pay for that 30 minutes, if they in like the 10-minute mark, were they just done with their session?
Yeah.
They couldn't go again?
No. Okay, that's like extra. So like if you wanted to have like a multiple shot, you would just pay like an extra whatever. You know, some people charge. I was charging 40. So a lot of the times they finished early too. So I was seeing a lot of people. Sometimes I'd be seeing like 15 to 20 people in a day, honestly. Like I was hustling really hard. I was making really good money.
What did you do with that money? Because you were young.
I was young. I didn't save. I was just living like I was also like traveling from like different cities. So like a lot of the money, it felt like it was going to either hotels, transportation, money to post like the ad. I'm also not home, so I'm not cooking, so I'm ordering food constantly. I need money for condoms. I need money for lube, like clothing, lingerie. Like there's a lot of expenses that kind of went into it. And like I wasn't driving at the time. So I was like, you know, like I was kind of getting to the point where I'm like, am I really making, you know, money where I can be comfortable and like I'm not having to 20 men a day, like you know, like there's just, when do I get to enjoy it? Like this is not kind of for me. So then I started going to sugar daddies, because I didn't have to see them as long, and I would get a lot more from it. And not only was like the money was great, but I also like a lot of them were mentors, so they would kind of like help me in terms of like with school stuff, or like if I just needed advice, like they always wanted to like help and listen and talk to me about relationships or like family stuff. Like they did care. So it was nice, and I feel like I've made so many connections in my years of doing this, and a lot of people like they get burnt out or they end up like resenting the job, and I appreciate it so much, because I feel like it gave me like, I had to like learn the hard way. Like I had to kind of do things myself. Like nobody was holding my hand and teaching me how to figure out all this stuff. You just kind of had to have a little bit of street smarts, and then common sense, and then learn everything else kind of along the way. But I've just made so many connections of people. Like they were tricks, and honestly, I still talk to them to this day, in like a friendship way. They've always like paid, they've always respected me, but they're just like, I've met a lot of great, cool people that I would never have had the opportunity to do so if I didn't get into this industry.
No, and I feel the same way with the porn stuff. Like, and it's interesting because everyone starts differently. Do you have tips for if someone started like the way you did? Would you discourage
make sure
it?
that you are of age. I mean, you do you. I'm not, you know, you do you. But it is harder because, you know, like you need to get your hotel, you need to have a credit card, you need to have all these things, and if you don't have those things, then that makes it like a lot more stressful. If you drive, that's great. There, you can definitely get around. If not,
do you think the ads helped and were worth the money, or do you think that it's...
Yeah, ads are a big thing, super important, because otherwise you're not putting your name out there. I'm trying to think like safety.
Yeah, like, okay, so I have a question then. Tip-wise, when it comes to advice that you would give someone, what would you tell them to take care of themselves, to protect their mental health or their physical health when they're in that like job? Because is different, because obviously you require testing. Different. Do people ever like try to argue the kind of thing?
I think boundaries are super, super important. You need to make sure that like right off the bat, like even on your ad, you can put like I'm not doing any bare services, which is or raw services, which is just no or kissing and all that. That way people know. For the like some people will argue it and ask, but at the end of the day, it's your body. Like you don't give them your location, and if they try to pull stuff, you know, you just say you got to go. No one's really ever like I feel like I'm lucky because I've heard some crazy like fucked up stories.
Yeah.
But I've never had a bad experience where I've really had to even like kick anybody out of my room. And like,
so when they like book, do they send a deposit? No, I know you don't do it
not
like
for me
anymore, but like when you did do it, like they didn't send a deposit.
It's so sketchy. Like I don't know how I got out of this is like with so much luck. Because like, yeah, no deposit. You just like, it's a random number. They're messaging you with like, they probably have a fake number too. So you can't even like look it up to see anything about them. They ask you what your service is, like what you're offering. You tell them what you're offering. You tell them your price. And they say, okay, like what time can I come? They give you a time. And then you give them your address. Don't give them your hotel room number until like they're there. And they say like, I'm here. You can ask them for like their like license plate so you can check before giving them your room number.
Yeah.
The only problem I've had is just no shows when people just don't show up.
Oh, yeah.
For like the deposit thing. But other than that, everyone's always just paid their money up front.
Do they pay cash then?
Yeah, cash always. I don't like e-transfers because I don't want weird stuff going in my bank, you know?
No. That
people
makes
looking
sense.
at that. So cash was always what I used.
So after you did escorting, what was the next thing that you did? And how did like your story kind of keep going?
So I got tired of like having to see so many men. So I went to sugar daddies, met some really cool people. And then I got into a relationship. So he knew like what I was about. He knew like whatever. That was fine. And then we got a house together. Like we were renting and we were trying to figure out how we were going to pay rent. And he was like, have you ever heard of this site called Chatterbait?
So you didn't know how to, if you got this place and you didn't really know how you guys were going to pay rent?
Like we did. He had a job. I had a job. I was a manager at Urban Planet, which is a clothing store. Yeah. And I was working like grueling hours. It was also in a different city than where we were living. Yeah. I wasn't driving. So like he had to drive me every day for my morning opening shifts and close and come pick me up and stuff. So it was just a lot. And he's like, we could make so much like more money doing like something a bit more easier and like less taxing. And like that way we can like spend more time together.
And I feel like that's the thought everyone goes into is it's easier. But then when you get deeper into it, it's not easier. The initial part, either you have success or you have to work really hard to like get that success. Some people like blow up. Like for me, I had already built a following when I got into and stuff. But I had spent that fucking 6 years before that building a following and like didn't get much out of it until I got into. Most people don't have that following. They don't, you know, so they don't get in and blow up. But with you guys had a lot of success.
We blew up like our first stream. So I think he only presented it to me because he knew I was already kind of in the game. Yeah. Like I knew, you know, what's what and I was comfortable with it. Yeah. But he didn't pressure me. He was just like, would you be down? Like, would you do that? And I was like, yeah. Yeah,
your personality, I think that's why you and I get along so freaking well, you guys. Because like, obviously, get along great. We don't share like a lot of our like personal, like real, like stuff that happens in our lives because we have to have boundaries. But when she and I are together, we're shooting together because we do have an OnlyFans page, which is onlyfans.com/me-and-mommy. But I will also have that link down below. But like our duo page is like both of us and it's like stepsister stuff, right? When we shoot together, it's like yin and yang. Like we just have this vibe.
It's like boom, 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 boom. Like we're already doing the same position. Like we don't even
without even
talk
thinking
or eye contact. We just know like what pictures or what like poses and angles. And we're doing like even today we come out and we're wearing the matching outfit and we're like, what the heck? You don't even wear pink.
No, I don't. And it was just funny because I just like was like in my closet like I'm gonna grab this and put it on. And then I him in the kitchen and she's comes out in that. But I feel like you are the type of person that like your personality, you know what you want, you do what you want. And if you didn't want to do it, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But going back a little bit, before we go into the whole Chatterbait thing, because that's really how you got into the internet, right?
Yeah.
When you were with the sugar daddy stuff, did you like use seeking arrangements or how did you find sugar daddies? Be real.
It was seeking arrangements a little bit. It was also kind of like through Leo List, posting pages, you kind of see who's got money, who's like wealthy, who wants to spend more time with you, like one-on-one and like away from like the hotel, like that kind of vibe.
Can they message you on that site?
I think so, but I don't think most people use it. It's just like, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's not very organized. So I just kind of kept track of people in my head over the years, and then like kept in contact with them. And there wasn't like a bunch of them. There was honestly like a solid like 4 or 5.
Well, I know too. Can I share this? The movie date you had where you got paid $10K?
I guess so.
I'm going to spill her tea, you guys. So when I first met her, someone had bragged before I even met her.
That person always does.
Yeah. About how she got paid $10,000 to watch a movie with a sugar daddy.
Yeah. And not once or twice, like a few times.
Which, okay, so I have a question. What kind of movie?
It wasn't even a movie. Like, it was just like comedy shows. Like, we were just chilling.
Did you like legit chill, or did you guys do more?
We legit chilled.
That is so crazy to me.
I've sucked his maybe like twice. But even then, like, he's like, I don't want that. Like, it's just.
Do you feel like he just wanted companionship?
Yeah.
Because, okay, this sounds really weird, but when I got into and I started making like decent money, I started realizing, so like I like to go to the spa. We've been to the spa together. We'll get into that her spa stuff too soon. But
oh boy.
I like going to the spa, right? And when you go to the spa, like usually you just go by yourself, but like I really like doing it with someone, right? So when I was on Tinder, I was single, I was getting really lonely, like doing what I do now, because like you want that companionship. And in that moment when I was going to the spa, I had texted this guy. I was like, hey, look, you want to go with me? And he's like, oh, like I don't have the money to go. And I was like, I just got paid. I have like my full fucking paycheck was like the spa price, okay, for 2 people. And I was like, let me just do it. Because but here's the thing, because I was so lonely and just valued the companionship.
God.
Like this man wanted to make out with me. I didn't want to make out with him. Like, okay, my friends have all this guy. So like we have like the sisterhood of the traveling pants, whatever, you know. But with him, like I just wanted to have someone like care about me, and like all I really wanted was like to spend the day with someone and feel special.
Yeah.
And but like it was like the weirdest day, because when I did that, it wasn't that I wanted to have sex, because obviously this job gives you that. It wasn't to kiss or anything like that. It was to have someone, like when we were in the spa, there's like this grotto, you know,
yep,
with the waterfall. We were in that area because that's the co-ed area. And it was just so nice to have someone like flirt with me and like hold my hand under the water.
Be there with you. No, I get that.
And so like now, like when I, you know, a lot of the time people are like, I can't understand like why people would pay for companionship, but I get it. Because even though like I maybe wouldn't want to, like it's not something I see as like a good decision with where I'm at financially. Like I know people that have a lot of fucking money that are so lonely. Like, where's your happiness in that?
Yeah. I also like if it's like a genuine relationship, because I'm glad that he found me, because he's never like done anything like that before. And I was still pretty new to it when I met him. And I'm like happy that like he met me, because like I didn't take advantage of him. I didn't use him. Like I genuinely like cared about him and loved him as a person. And we formed like a really, really close bond. We talked a lot. And it got to the point where like he wasn't paying me just for me to be there. He was paying because he wanted to like support me in my life endeavors and like make sure that I was like set up and comfortable and not stressing about like debts and whatnot. So
yeah, no, but that's what I understand now versus before. I feel like you don't get it until you
are on the other end of the stick,
like
right?
have that real feeling, because you can like imagine like, oh, that lonely old man. No, it's and a lot of the time like I have guy friends that like, you know, are pretty successful, and like they tell me, they're like, I'm just so lonely. They're like, I want to be in love, but I work so much I can't like find love.
Yeah.
So then they go to the next best thing. They go to like the fucking strip club. They go to all these places, but that's not where like they get the companionship. So like paying for that, like sugar daddies genuinely a lot of the time spend time with you in a different way. Like you go to a hockey game, you do things. It's not just like suck, blow, by, you know?
Yeah. No, it's a lot nicer. So I enjoyed that.
And as I'm talking, just a little reminder, you can always go to onlyfans.com/fitsid for my VIP OnlyFans. Has all of my scenes unlocked, right on the feed, my pictures, everything. I reply to direct messages there every single day. And then I also have a free OnlyFans page, which is onlyfans.com/xxxfitsid. So if you're interested in seeing my OnlyFans content, you can go there. If you'd like to see my other stuff, you can go to fitsid.com. You can find my socials. And yeah, thank you so much for the support. I always appreciate it. So, okay, now we can go back. But I wanted to ask the sugar daddy thing, and I wanted to share her 10K thing, because that's something that, like, to me is so crazy, because, like, one of my other friends, Kanye, gave her $15,000 cash to try and tell her to get out of being a bartender at this underground club. Yeah.
That's insane.
Okay, so with Chatterbait, you said you blew up your first stream.
Yes.
How did that go?
So we made the account. We were sitting here trying to figure out what we were going to call it. We came up with Whipped Creamy. So we made the account. And
did all of this happen in one day, or was it kind of like a little like
probably like a 2-day thing, because we were like talking about it, and then we were like, okay, well, if we're serious, we need to act now.
Yeah.
So we acted before we got cold feet.
What did he do, by the way?
What do you mean?
Like job wise, like before?
Oh, he was
because you were a manager.
He worked at GNC, like a supplement store.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then he also did like personal training on the side.
Why
as well.
could I totally see you guys doing like both jobs, like typical, not like before. This is the vibe. Super random, but I actually gave a in the back of a GNC.
Me too.
Stock room, and I just think it's funny because, like, you know, you're a pretty healthy, fit person, but I think it's funny, like, that just shows like the whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like anywhere.
Wow, that's something else we can share a memory with.
Yeah. That's so funny.
But
I didn't know that until just now, by the way.
No, yeah, so. You guys, I just was sharing that with her. But so, like with Chatterbait blowing up, how did it feel having like to do that live on camera? Because I feel like that's like different than one-on-one.
It was different. It's very, very different. I was like, okay, well, go into this thinking maybe we'll get like 200 views. Like that'll be like really good, you know? And we like logged on. It just kept going up. Like the viewers. We hit 35,000 viewers live when we were watching, like when we first started streaming, and we were like, what the hell? Like we were so like shocked, like we so much adrenaline, like I feel like we couldn't really comprehend like what was happening. And we had like our show, we didn't even know like how to really run it, because we've never streamed before, and it was so quick. Like my boyfriend at the time we did research, we looked at other people's rooms and saw like what they did, but we had to learn for ourselves, right?
So, and it's also different being behind the camera versus like on a computer.
Watching. Yeah, it's a lot different. So we did our show, and we did a live. So all these people were watching, and we just moved into the place, and this guy doesn't know how to put together IKEA furniture for the life of him. Yeah. So the bed that we had in the room was an IKEA bed, and we were doing the
with the
show.
slats.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, this is a good imagery for me.
So there's actually a meme of it. So we're fucking, and he's like, I'm gonna blow, like I'm gonna fucking come. Everyone's watching. The fucking bed explodes, like shatters. Him and I are like, we go flying, rolling down the fucking mattress. Like, and he just looks up, and we like look at the camera, and we're like, oh my God, like that did not just fucking happen. And he just starts continuing to fuck me. And everyone in the chat was just like, oh my fucking God, you guys are like insane. Like this is so fucking funny. Like you guys are hilarious. Like I can't believe you kept going. And then he just blew his load, and then we got off.
Do you know how much you made?
I think it was like $500 or $1,000 US.
Damn.
And like for us, we were like, holy I'm like, oh my God, I'm quitting my job. Like I don't need to work anymore. Like he literally, we drove over, and I handed in the keys, and I didn't even give them 2 weeks. It was on Halloween actually. And my manager was so pissed at me because people come into the store last minute to like get their costumes and for like parties. So she was so pissed at me, and I gave her my keys. I was like, sorry, like I'm not coming in.
Holy fuck.
So
then you just did it like day after day?
Then we were grinding, and then we kind of like had some problems then in the relationship, because I felt like the only time we'd have sex was when we were on camera. We were also like keep in mind, we were together for 3 months at that point. So, like, we weren't even really, like, in a long committed relationship before jumping into, like, such a big commitment, you know?
What tip would you give to someone, like, because this is something, like, I really want to know more, and I think everyone else does too. But what tip would you give someone when they're going into doing that as a relationship? Because I think camming versus OnlyFans versus, like, mainstream, all different. Like I don't have any experience really. Like, I've experienced camming myself. No experience doing any shows, you know, at all, let alone with someone that I care about, that I want to, like, build it, because you're a team, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, at the same time, like, I'm not saying that you guys had the problem of not having sex, like, off camera, but you're saying you guys did, you know? So I'm just saying you guys, like, I'm not putting that in her mouth, but I know I struggled with that too. Like, I always want to turn on the camera and film it for OnlyFans because, like, I'm a fucking exhibitionist.
That's how he was.
Yeah. And, like, but also at the same time, when the camera's on, I'm not doing what I would normally do because that doesn't, like, sell.
Well, you're performing. Like, you're putting on more of a show, like, you know?
Yeah. Like, it still feels great, but, like, it doesn't hit the emotional spot.
It just takes away from the intimacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were, like, not arguing, but, like, I was just feeling a type of way about it because I felt like I didn't have enough, like, one-on-one time. And, like,
do you think he did too? Do you think he had a problem with it, or do you think
I think he was so, like, you know, he's a guy, he's 20, like, or even 18, I guess, actually.
I know, it's crazy to think how young.
Yeah, we were really young, and he's still getting. So, like, what is he gonna complain about, right? Whereas girls, like, we need that, like, intimate.
I want to make out, bro.
Right now?
I knew. My mind was literally thinking, like, she's gonna fucking do it. She's gonna say it. Because literally, we also kiss very similarly. So that makes me know.
The best. Because I'm like, I know I'm a good kisser.
Yeah,
so, like,
you are. And
so she's a good kisser,
but it also makes me know that you enjoy kissing. Because I feel like people that enjoy kissing kiss the way we do.
Yes.
Because it's more, like, passionate, intimate.
But the advice I'd give, like, if you're getting into this with, like, a couple, boyfriend, girlfriend, make sure that you guys separate time apart. So you have, like, your own things. Yeah. Because our kind of, like, we lived together, we were young, our life just became one. Yeah. We worked, we slept together, we ate together, we shit together, we bathed together.
Showered together.
We did everything together. Like, we grocery shopped together. There was no time where we spent away. And usually for most people in a relationship, that's common. But then you go to work and you have your separate space and you're separate and you're your own person.
Plus,
we didn't have that.
You said it was 3 months of you guys being, like, official and living together too. So, like, when you're in that honeymoon stage, it makes it so much more. Because actually, like, my last, like, real relationship, no hate to him if you're listening to this right now, I had never lived with someone, and he had, like, kind of pushed to, like, live together way earlier. Like, we had gotten together, like, officially. We had talked for a year and then officially been, like, together, right? And then, like, so, like, 3 to 4 months in, he's like, well, when are we gonna move in together? Like, and I was like, oh, like, give me a couple more months. Bro, by the end of that month, all his shit was in my place. And, like, it wasn't because he didn't have a place. It was because we lived 45 minutes, like, one way
But you
away.
guys ended up just spending so much time together,
Every
right?
night after he worked, because he worked at a hospital, he would drive after the last shift of, like, the day, you know? So it'd be, like, 2 o'clock in the morning or, like, 11 o'clock. Never, like, normal hours. He'd be coming to my house, so I'd stay up for him.
So you guys would get, like, 1 or 2 hours of sleep before your, like, shifts and
yeah, well, and then also, like, I was doing OnlyFans, and I wake up early, like, usually, like, 5 or 6 in the morning because, like, my East Coast fans wanted to talk before they went to work. So I was waking up early as fuck. And so it just didn't make sense for us to be, like, constantly driving back and forth. It was kind of fucking up my routine, my sleep schedule, because I'm a grandma. And, like,
yeah, you are.
And yeah, she knows it. I'll be like, night.
It's like 6 p.m.
Yeah. But, like, with that, we moved in pretty early, too. And we did everything, eat, sleep. It was 400 square feet.
Yeah.
So we didn't really have
Tiny.
space. And then also we were in the honeymoon phase too, where I literally every day was like, I'm going to marry this man. I'm going to marry this man. Like,
babies.
Yeah. Like, really had that hope and, like, saw that future. So for me, it wasn't, like, being, like, mauled. But at the same time, it was like, like, even if it sounds like, oh, we don't need space. No. You need some boundaries and space. Yeah.
It's super, super important.
That's what was good, though, is he had his own job. So, like, he did, we had space. But when you guys start coming together, you don't.
And we both were like, what's a job? Like we literally just left our jobs and did that full time. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to, it was going great.
Yeah.
But.
Did you have separate rooms?
No.
Yeah, no, exactly. So you had no space.
No space. Like we had other rooms in the house, but we just didn't
use them.
We didn't use them. Yeah. But like overall, like the relationship was good. So like I'm not.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, like maybe I can get out of the house more and you know, try something else. So I tried stripping. So I went to work at a strip club.
Did you guys cam and you stripped?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So like on like certain days when I felt like we were butting heads too much, or like, you know, maybe we shouldn't tonight. I would go to the club, make my money that way.
Which is so nice though that you had like another stream you could do, because I feel like it's so hard when like you two had to depend on each other. Like at least then you didn't depend on making money just with him.
Exactly. And like if, you know, if he wasn't feeling good or like he wasn't down for it that night, then I could be like, okay, I'm just gonna go work.
Did he do anything else, or did he have like other hobbies?
My ex, he liked to game. He liked to work out a lot. Like our like lifestyle was super, super chill. Like we'd wake up, we'd, you know, make our meal prep for the day. We'd work out, go for a walk maybe. We wouldn't really leave the house because like we worked from home.
Right. That's my biggest problem is I have to be like, Sydney, you're going to go get gas. Just do something out of your house.
Something, right?
But the gym gets you out of the house.
Yep. And then we just watch a lot of movies and like get into like that kind of stuff, nerdy stuff. But
no, that makes sense. Yeah, you guys, she's actually a closet nerd, if you didn't know. She's into anime, Marvel, comics.
Like classic old movies.
Yeah. She's actually
TV shows.
More than just the pretty face that you see.
There's a lot.
So when you guys did that, how many, like on average, like how often did you guys cam?
We would cam like at the beginning, like the first maybe year and a half to 2 years, we were probably camming like 4 times a week. And
then when you got into stripping, what was that like change like? Because you were doing more.
I got into stripping because we needed the space, like for our relationship and for the like brand.
You're smothering each other at that point.
So I was like sick of him. He was sick of me. I'm like, we just need to take a break from cam. And it was like kind of like, you know, we didn't want to tarnish our names and like we didn't want to represent ourselves in like that way. So we're like, we just shouldn't be on right now. So I think
that's like the most self-aware thing you can have, because most people, they would just get on and make a huge
don't get me
scene.
wrong. We've had our scenes and like we've had like our fans from like who we've had from day one. They've seen my like freakouts. They've seen his like we've literally gotten to pretty serious fights on cam. But the people who support us, they just kind of ride with it. They know that we're human.
They're part of your guys' relationship.
Sometimes they'll pick sides and like they'll be like, "Hey, like you're in the wrong." Like whatever. They will. They'll rip us a new one. Which is great. I love them for that. But yeah, so when I'd go to the club, it was nice to kind of just get away, make my money, and then come home, and then I'm excited to see him. Yeah. He's excited to see me, and then we're good.
What else have you done? What's your story?
I've worked at a spa.
Yeah, okay, so let's get into the spa thing. So you guys know, I'm obsessed with Nuru, I don't know how to say it, Nuru massage. I'm obsessed with like wondering how happy ending places are. I love being touched. I love massages. And so it was funny because when we started talking and I was like, you know, when you look someone up, because she and I both did OnlyFans way before we knew each other. So like when we did find out we were both workers, I was like, I want to look her up on Google. Looked her up on Google, found out more about her. And like, it wasn't I was like genuinely interested. And then like when we got to talking, I like was like, okay, Sydney, get the courage right now to ask her about the spa thing and how happy endings work. Because I was so curious. How did you find the spa? How did you do that? Because I'm guessing club maybe?
Funny because the same person who got me into the beginning of like the escorting was the same girl who got me into the spa. Because she was
really?
And you know who it is, right?
Yeah.
So she was working there and she's like, oh my gosh, like, Sam, I found this spa. You're going to love it. I was like, okay, what now? Like she's always presenting me with these like insane ideas. Like this girl's ridiculous. Love her though. So she's like, come here. Like, I know the owner. He'll let you work there. So I just show up and we were working together. We would do duos. We would do solos. But basically, you know, you're there. You're dressed up in your little like outfit. It's kind of like you're club vibes, honestly.
So like the outfits are
stripper vibes.
Stripper outfits. So I know I've seen some of your spa pictures, and it was funny because when she sent me them, I like was thinking it was like in a bathroom at home because it like I didn't notice like the table. But there's like a shower in the room. She has
a sink. There's a huge mirror. There's actually mirrors all around the wall. There's a couple chairs, and then there's a pretty decent sized massage bed.
And then you were wearing heels in the picture, so I was like,
for heels.
Yeah,
but I think all the girls, heels is a part of your uniform, and then you can wear whatever else. But I actually really liked working at the spa. I didn't have to deal with the hotel. I didn't have to deal with the text messaging of the clients. I didn't have to deal with the...
It was a lot less like admin work.
Yeah, it was just so much nicer. I could go home. Like it just seemed more like legit in a way. Like there was more organization to it. I didn't have to worry about like the tedious crap.
And safety, because you had other people there protecting you that were like in charge of you in a way.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really nice. They also like they supplied like body wash and like lotion for the clients and all that stuff. So I never had to pay for it, which was great. But with there, like you can pick and choose what services you want to offer. You can do full service, which is you could do just jobs, but all those are extras. You know, you can't just go in like the people will come in. They when they pay, it's massage and a happy ending. That's
do they pay ahead?
Yeah, they pay the front desk. So what's included is a massage, a body slide, and a happy ending.
And what's a body slide?
Everyone fucking hates the body slides. I mean, we do. But it's basically where you lather up like the person and yourself, and then you just like do like a fucking slip and slide down their body. Like,
so it's kind of like new room massage. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah, I guess.
Where you use your body to massage theirs.
And like I didn't like it. Like we didn't like it, but just because we don't know who the people are.
Right.
So like I don't know where you came from or like how clean you are. And yes, there's a shower, but it's just like I don't want to be rubbing myself on every person that comes in.
Right.
So like it's not something that we all do or provide, but it is something that the spa does have included in the package.
Yeah.
And then there's the happy ending, which sometimes like I've had people say like they just want a massage, no extra touching, but like they come into the spa because they know that like hot girls are going to be there, like rubbing their bodies and whatnot. But yeah, then they just get a hand job and then they're on their way.
Do you feel like when you got into that, it was like hard to get some guys off, or was it always easy?
Oh God, it's so easy. I feel like I had I had the upper hand there because I have so much experience under my belt from like I'm giving hand jobs to 20, 30 guys a day at my age, like the age I was. So like by the time I was working at the spa, I probably had like 2,000, if not 4,000 hand jobs that I've given. So like,
so you're like, this is
nothing. Like I'm milking the cow at this point. Like,
because I always wonder, because I like, you know, when like you have like a hookup and they just can't come and you're like, man, like I don't have that problem very often, but like, you know,
sometimes it happens.
And especially if guys are nervous.
For sure.
Like I always wonder though, when they go into a spa, like are they just fucking ready to fucking nut then? Like do they come in with that, or are you just so good?
For me, because I already had a little bit of like clout to my name, people were like, the spa was booked all the time. People were calling about me all the time. They're like, oh my God, like Samantha works at a spa. Like what the hell? Like I need to get an appointment. So they were always booking me. So I was super busy. But because they knew who I was already coming in, they would be nervous sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I've been like waiting to see you for years. Like I knew that you were escorting and then you stopped. So like I couldn't get to you anymore.
Right.
So like now's my chance. And it was cool. Like it was cool to kind of, because they were like fans, you know? And it was just really nice to see and be able to talk to them and whatnot. Some of them just wanted to actually just sit there the whole time and talk to me.
Wow.
I didn't even massage them. They massaged me, actually. Like multiple men would massage me instead. So just so cool because like you're just building these cool relationships with sick people.
No, I think that's like the fun part. It's just interesting to me because it's something that like because I've always been internet. It's interesting hearing your stuff. So was the spa like kind of like underground in the sense that like no one knew, or was it kind of known?
They were known. Like there's a lot of them in Toronto, which is where I'm from, Canada.
Is that allowed there?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a gray area because people know what goes on there, but like there's other things that they're worried about. Like they don't have the time or money and energy to be like raiding these places all day when they need to be worried about like other stuff.
Yeah. Do you think that there was any trafficking there? Because I feel like that's something people talk about all the time is like these women are being traffic, do you think that was like a problem, or do you think it was just like actual
Not at
willing
all.
people?
No, it was willing people. There was like one girl that used to work there, and she like, honestly, like, it was hard because I wanted to like literally punch her in her face, but at the same time, she was, I guess she's an addict, so like she was really, really messed up on like all these one night during a shift, and like we had to like, it looked really bad on the spot because she's like running in and out of like hallways, barging into people's rooms during session, like screaming. Like she was just not in the right state of mind. But like that does happen in this industry. So
yeah, and even in too, like you get to a set and like this girl's been on a fucking bender because her hair's not done, her makeup, she smells. And like she's not coherent of like how she is,
how they're talking. Like it was really sad. She spit in my face, this girl.
Oh my God.
She spit in my face because I was trying to help her put her shoes on. We were trying to get her in a cab. Like it was a nightmare, but like she got fired. So there's just people who do the wrong things for wrong reasons, I think.
No, and I think that's what gives it like a really bad rep, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. So, oh my gosh, I want to keep going, but you guys are going to have to see when Sam comes back to the podcast. If you guys want to find our other OnlyFans page, I will have it linked down below. But this is Samantha Creams, my stepsister Sam, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me.
If you guys want to chat with her, I will have everything linked down below. But thank you guys so much. Remember, you're always somebody's type. Have a great day, great night. Sydney out.